Hey guys, it's the Void here, and today we got another video, this time comparing two iPads, the iPad Pro and the iPad Air 2. But before we get into the video, I'd highly appreciate a like and subscribe, because it really encourages me to post daily content as I already am doing. So let's get right into the video. The iPad Pro comes in at a height of 305.7mm, whereas the iPad Air 2 has a height of 240mm. Width-wise, the iPad Pro has 220.6mm and an iPad Air 2 has 169.5mm. The iPad Pro has a depth of 6.9mm and the iPad Air 2 has a depth of 6.1mm. So overall the iPad Pro is a massive iPad compared to the iPad Air 2. It is also much heavier at 713 grams, whereas the iPad Air 2 is only 437 grams. But let's remember that the iPad Pro is still a bigger device. They both come in the same colour options, gold, space grey and silver. Moving over to display, the iPad Pro has a 12.9-inch 2732 by 2048 resolution, whereas the iPad Air 2 has a 9.7-inch display, 2048 by 1536 resolution, but that is evened out with a PPI of 246 PPI on both of them. They are both fully laminated displays, and the iPad Pro supports the Apple Pencil, which comes with the iPad. Next we'll move over to camera. iPad Pro has a primary camera of 8 megapixels, 32 by 64, 3264 by 2448, whereas the iPad Air 2 has a primary camera of 8 megapixels by 3264 by 2448. So same camera behind. It also has the same camera for your secondary as a 1.2 megapixel camera. So the same there, and it also has same video recording, so 1080p at 30 fps, 720p at 120 fps. So camera wise they're both the same, but the iPad isn't really a good camera anyway. So moving over to internals, the iPad Pro has an A9X 64-bit, whereas the iPad Air 2 has an A8X 64-bit. The iPad Pro has an M9 coprocessor, whereas the iPad Air 2 has an M8 coprocessor. The iPad Pro uses iOS 9, and the iPad Air 2 is also iOS 9. The iPad Pro has a triple core 1.8 GHz. That's what we're going to expect, because we don't actually know what we're getting yet, so we're going to expect round about there. The iPad Air 2 has a triple core 1.5 GHz processor. And again, we do not know the current specs of the iPad Pro, but that's what we should be expecting from a device like this. Connectivity wise, the iPad Pro has Wi-Fi 802.11, so does the iPad Air 2. The iPad Pro has Bluetooth 4.0, so does the iPad Air 2. They both use Lightning cable, and they both have LTE on the cellular models only. So connectivity wise, they're both the same too. Next we're going to move over to storage, battery and price. The iPad Pro has up to 10 hours battery, same with the iPad Air 2. We do not know the milliamps or any of that. Next, moving over to Wi-Fi, price for the iPad Pro, 32GB for £518, 128GB for £615. There is no 16GB model or no 64GB model for the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro cellular model only comes with 128GB for £699. So that is quite a shame that it only comes in 128GB, and it is quite a hefty price tag. Moving over to the iPad Air 2, it has up to 10 hours battery life, and Wi-Fi prices come in at 16GB for £399, 64GB for £479, and 128GB for £559. Moving over to the cellular price, 16 gigabytes is £499, 64 gigabytes is £579, and 128 gigabytes is £659. So you still get all the options on the iPad Air 2, but not so much on the iPad Pro. We don't know, they might bring out a different version of it, but we do not know that yet. And one more thing, the Apple Pencil does come included with the iPad Pro. That is about it, guys, for this video. I would like to thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time, see ya.